It's Edward Roski, and I'm asking good questions. Why would OpenAI want the government to own a piece of it? President Trump said that the federal government may take equity stakes in pre-IPO OpenAI, pre-IPO Anthropic, and post biggest IPO in history, at least at the moment, SpaceX, XAI. Trump's framing was you make them a partnership in this revolution. The strange part is normally the government steps in and says, I want to own all this. And there's even a storyline that it was Bernie's idea. Sam Altman actually pitched government ownership himself starting back in early 2025, and he's been in Washington lately making that case again. Most founders spend a fortune on lawyers keeping the government out of their cap table. This one drove to DC to invite it in. So the proposed mechanism is pretty gentle on paper. The companies donate a slice of equity into something called a public wealth fund. There's no taxpayer cash out the door, and ordinary Americans can collect the dividends. It's Altman's own April proposal, but it's now getting a serious read from the people who can actually make it happen. When a private company volunteers the government as a shareholder, the bill for what it's building usually got too big to carry by itself, or it wants the government to not shut it down. Anthropic. And there is a template. The US government has already bought roughly 10% of Intel last August, which was 433 million shares at $20 and change, funded out of money that Washington had already promised. Kevin Hassett called it a down payment on a sovereign wealth fund. NVIDIA and AMD separately agreed to hand the Treasury 15% of their China chip sales, which is capitalism with a silent partner who also happens to write the regulations. That's never once gone sideways for anybody. But what makes this one land is the politics. Bernie Sanders wants a 50% stake plus a 50% tax on these companies. Trump says maybe a friendly partnership would be a good deal. Left and right can't even agree on whether lunch should be vegetarian. And here they're both reaching for kind of the same shares, except Anthropic, who is the one firm publicly declining to play. But it's also the one Washington has been feuding with since last winter, so read into that whatever you'd like. But if the only way to fund the future is to sell a piece of it to the state, who's going to end up owning the upside and who's going to end up owning the downside? If you found this quick and helpful, please subscribe. But until next time, keep asking good questions.